Welcome to the world of dashboard warning lights.
Yes, the dark art.
Yeah,
And first thing to say is don't worry too much. The common thing that people don't really tell you when you go to a dealership is the light that comes up on your dashboard is usually a sensor.
mm,
Now, current modern cars, they are absolutely chock-a-block full of sensors all over the place. These sensors are supposed to give you a warning, a heads up that you've got a problem in a certain area of the car. Big problem is that it's the sensors that fail and not the area of the car that they're supposed to be giving you a heads up on. So you end up replacing sensors left, right, and center rather than having a major problem. So a lot of the time, it's a sensor, not the actual engine that's about to blow up. So don't worry too much if you see a light. The car will go into limp mode if there's a major problem. So if you see a light and it goes into limp mode, then you need to be a bit more concerned about the situation. So maybe pull over if you're in the AA, call the AA if you go into limp mode. Limp mode is when the car protects itself and goes into restricted performance. That's when the car will really not do much more than 30, 40, 50 miles an hour, and it will accelerate very slowly, restricting the revs of the car as to protect itself. The engine management light. That's the first one. That is one that most people, I think that's the most searched for one, isn't it? People that don't understand. So it looks like an engine block with a twizzly bit on the end.
yeah,
Engine block is just a square thing like that with a twizzly bit on the end, and it will either glow amber or red. Usually, amber means that you've got a mild problem. Red means you've got a serious problem. But again, if it doesn't go into limp mode, it's probably not that serious. But if it goes red, then probably best to pull over and call the AA, RAC, whichever breakdown service you use. First with ABS warning lights is a lot of the time it's the ABS ring that gets dirty, and
yeah.
again, clouds the sensor, so that will need sorting out. But you don't need to replace it. Most of the time, it can be cleaned out, put back in, and that will sort it out. Very easy way of checking whether or not your ABS has got a problem. Find an empty stretch of straight road with no traffic on it. Brace your passengers and slam the brakes on. If the tyres lock up, so you feel it a little bit out of control and you can see smoke coming off the tyres, then back off straight away, let the car coast. Your ABS isn't working. If the ABS does kick in and it judders and you come to a halt nice and safely, then your ABS is working. So it's likely that you've got a sensor problem or an ABS ring problem. So that's the first thing. So you can check that straight away. So that'll give you peace of mind. What's the next one, James?
The next one, in the old days, it used to be a blue light, but now it's the oil pressure warning light, which is
Right, that's quite a big one.
it is.
Yeah, if you've got an oil pressure warning light, you need to, James will flash that up on the screen now.
Yeah, yeah,
If that comes on, stop the car straight away because it means that you're losing oil pressure, which means that actually your engine might already be lunched because there might be a hole in the side of the block with oil pissing out the side of it. So, yeah, that could be pretty terminal. But if the car does keep running, it could be all sorts of things. Could be a snap chain, could be a snap cam belt, anything really. So no point in speculating. If you see the oil pressure warning light, pull over straight away, turn the car off, call the AA.
Next one is a very common one again, which we did talk about last week, but for some reason somebody didn't press the record button. I don't know who's responsible. That was Brad.
No comment.
Um, but yeah, it's the diesel particulate filter.
Oh, Jesus, these are right. Okay, I could rabbit on about these for days. Okay, first of all, if you're driving a diesel and doing 5 miles a day and then just going to the shops and back, if you're never doing anything more than 5, 10, 15 miles at a time, then you shouldn't be driving a diesel. It is illegal to remove diesel particulate filters, so don't do it. If you get caught, they will make you put one back in, and they can be upwards of £1,000 depending on what car it is. So don't take the risk. Just get it cleaned up. Now the good news is, if your DPF light comes on and the car still performs the same, then it's very, very, very likely, almost certain that you can get some DPF cleaner, stick it in the tank. Now, I use JLM DPF cleaner. I've actually been to see JLM. They're a lovely company, and you can buy it from them directly, or you can get it on Amazon. I suggest go directly, or I think they sell it on Amazon actually. It's about 30 quid. Put it in the tank with, I think, 30 or 40 litres of diesel. Then you've got to use the car, preferably if you've got a bad blockage or you've got slightly restricted performance where it's reluctant to rev over 2,500 revs, 3,000 revs, something like that. Then you really need to get on the motorway, hold it at 2,500 revs in whichever gear that is that's under 70 miles an hour. So fourth gear in a 6-speed is usually around about the right speed. Hold it there until you start to feel it free up. I mean, I've had the worst case I ever had was a BMW 335 diesel, which I sold, and it came back a few weeks later. And the guy had basically just he'd gone to the train station and back in it every day, which is a few miles. And after 5-6 weeks, it just blocked up, and the car wouldn't rev over 2,000 revs. I put the JLM DPF cleaner in it. I sat on the M5. I went from where did I go? I went from junction 4 down to Gloucester, which I think is about junction 12, and back. And by the time I got back, just sat at 2,500 revs, 70 miles an hour. By the time I got back, it cleared. And then give it a little bit of stick just to clear it out completely. And then that's done. But you will block it up again if you carry on the same behavior. So a lot of dealers won't cover DPFs anymore because it is very much behavior related. So you've got to look after your DPF, be aware of it, and make sure that you're not blocking it up. If you are aware that you've done short journeys for a while, then either go for a decent blast in it to blow it out, or just keep some DPF cleaner in the car. And if the light comes on, it will give you plenty of warning. So you shouldn't get restricted performance if you see the lights. Older DPF equipped cars didn't have a DPF light. So you will just feel restricted performance. You'll think there's something wrong with the car, but very often it's a DPF.
Yeah.
Now, if the car has gone past the point of no return, if you've been driving around on restricted performance, just clogging it up even more, then you've got two choices. You've got to either replace it, which could be 1,000 quid plus, or you've got to remove it. As I said, if you remove it, you're taking a risk because it's illegal. We can't advise you do that. But if you do it, it's the cheap option. And just be aware that if you buy a car that's already had it removed, then you might get collared for it and have to replace it anyway. You can check to see if it's been replaced or been cut out. The DPF is, if the pipe is that wide, when you get to the DPF, it sort of goes like that. It's a much bigger bit. Sorry, in the screen. So the pipe goes like that, and then the DPF bit will be a bigger square bit. It can be quite big, actually. Some people will take it out, chisel the insides out, and then weld it back in, and then it looks like it's still there, and then they'll map the car to work without it. Performance modifications very much like doing this because the DPF restricts performance. So just be aware of that. People that do the cheap option and just cut it out and put another piece of pipe in, it's very obvious it's been done. So just check for that. But again, that'll be in our car buying guide.
Yep.
So yeah, look out for the car buying guide.
Okay.
James and Bradley's mega car buying guide with Tom Cruise.
That's right. And finally, the last warning light is the airbag warning light.
Yes. Right, airbag warning lights. Land Rovers are famous for airbag warning lights, and it's always a little thing under the driver's seat that comes loose because they're not built very well, but we won't go into that again. And you just jiggle it around under the seat of a Range Rover and it goes off. Other cars, it can be all sorts of things. So airbag warning light. Now, actually, let me get this. This arrived this morning.
Right.
I bought it off Temu. Actually, I'll be honest, I bought it absolutely out of fascination just to see if it's crap or not. Haven't even, I've just opened it. It came in the post this morning, so I'm going to go and have a little play with that later and see if it's any good, and I'll let you know. But that is and it's, can you read that, James?
Yeah, car scanner. Yeah, that's what it is. So,
Made in China. There we go. Quality.
so it will read your fault codes.
Yeah, it reads fault codes. It gives you
Yeah.
an idea. This was, I think, less than 30 quid. So I'm going to go and I'm going to plug it into the Seat and the Lexus today and see what it says.
Okay.
I've
Yeah.
got a few other cars here as well. I've got the Mini, I've got a BMW. So I'll plug it into all of them and see what happens. Let you
Okay,
know.
that'll make a good video. Yeah, the last one I bought was about £100 more than that, so that would be very fascinating to see how that
Yeah,
goes.
the recommended retail price on this was actually over 100 quid.
Yeah.
And if anybody doesn't know about Temu is like a cut price budget Amazon, but from China. So
Mm.
you order the stuff, it takes 7 to 10 days to arrive. So it's not next day because it's literally all coming from China. But most of what you buy is made in China, and all they do is all the stuff that they get paid to make for brands over here, they just copy and knock out on Temu for peanuts. So I'm hoping that this has got all the software in it that you can buy on normal ones, but you just don't pay for it. So it's a bit of a cheat, but a good hack nonetheless.
Yeah.
Well, we hope so. When I plug it in, yeah, we'll see what it does. But yeah, I've got a 2018 Seat, I've got a 2015 Beamer here, a 2008 Lexus, and a 2006 original BMW Mini. So yeah, I'll plug it into all four and see what happens.
Fantastic. We look forward to that. But the general conclusion is that from Bradley's very helpful advice there, there's no need to panic most of the time when you see a light. And in fact, the first thing to do is not panic, because it might be a very, very simple solution. But
Absolutely.
but do pay attention to these sorts of things.
Yeah, don't ignore them. If you ignore them, it just creates more problems. And half the time, it's a 10 quid sensor that you can go to any motor factors and they will fit it for you. As my friends at Capital Car Spares in Halesowen know. So anybody local, something comes on, just pop down and see the guys at Capital and they will let you know. They can order whatever sensor you need. And most of the time, if it's not too difficult, they'll fit it for you because they're lovely people. Please like and subscribe.